I came from a province, a village. So it's very different from where I came from. I'm really amused with the light, the people, the vibe of the city. It's amazing. You know, Hong Kong is very crowded. It's always filled with people. So, in a way, my black and white photographs tend to tone down all this noise, all this, craziness on the street, and it focuses more on the person and what's happening within her.
It was this ability to tame the beast, so to speak, that had the world of photography turning its focus on 29-year-old Saiza Cruz Bacani. Sooner than she can realize, her photos of Hong Kong streets had already landed on the pages of the New York Times after US-based Filipino photographer Rick Rocamora found them on Facebook.
It's a shock when everyone was like, oh, a Filipino is in New York Times. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, what's the big deal? And then they told me that it's New York Times. Every photographer wants to be New York Times.
Since then, life couldn't be more different for Saiza. She was 19 when she first arrived in Hong Kong. Like many Filipinos here, and like her mother, she came to work as a domestic helper. She dropped out of college and took the job because her family needed more support. But she says she never felt burdened by it.
It's a moral job. I can eat 3 times a day. My salary is good. My boss is awesome. So it's a job.
But art was something she always had a fondness for.
I started when 2009, I think. I asked my mother if I can buy a camera. And she told me, this is her exact words actually, cameras are only for rich people. Photography is only for rich people. And I understand her because a camera back then cost around 12,000 Hong Kong dollar, and that's like 3 months' salary. Yeah. But then I'm stubborn, so I asked my boss, like, can I borrow some money? Because I want to buy a camera.
The answer was yes, and the rest, as they say, is history. After catching the world's attention with photos of Hong Kong, the Magnum Foundation selected her to become one of its fellows under a scholarship program in New York University. Now she travels the world doing what she loves.
You've been to New York, you've been to Abu Dhabi, Geneva, I think, all these different places. Is this still your favorite city?
Yes, because my mom is still here. I think wherever my family is, that's where my heart is.
Close to her heart is also how she describes the issues she's documented so far. In the United States, she tackled human trafficking. Back in Hong Kong, she spent time with abused domestic workers.
In many ways, foreign domestic workers here in Hong Kong are better off than those working in the Middle East, for instance. They get certain benefits here, like a minimum wage of about 4,000 Hong Kong dollars. They also get health insurance and they get days off. As you can see, they're enjoying their day here.
Not everything is what it seems, however. Not everyone can find employers like Saiza's. Some of the most unfortunate ones end up here at the Bethune House, which has, for 30 years, been home to abused migrant workers. 37-year-old Annalyn Ningala, who's from the Philippines, ended up here after her employer allegedly cursed her, took her by the arm and dragged her before hitting her with a bucket. She didn't think twice about leaving and reporting the incident to police.
What if pinalampas ko yun, hindi ako nag-report, kinabukasan, pinatay niya ako, di wala na akong laban. At least, sa sarili ko, nagawa ko yung part ko. Na hindi man ako nanalo sa kaso, naipakita ko sa kanya na hindi lahat ng katulong is tanga.
Despite what she went through, Annalyn is still here, waiting, until she can find another job in another household.
Kung ang Pilipinas lang ay may sapat na trabaho para sa ating lahat, Di ba hindi na kami mangingibang bansa? Kasi hindi naman pare-parehas ang tao, lalo ng amo. So, who knows na yung magiging amo ko ngayon is much better kaysa sa nakaraan.
It's something Indonesian domestic worker Tati isn't willing to gamble anymore. The memory of her ordeal is etched on her skin. Still burning, still aching.
Katanya isi satu kantong barang di mana, satu kantong barang isinya saya nggak tahu, katanya isinya sing apa emas apa gitu. Terus Bobo jangan tanya saya, tanya anakmu, siapa lagi, anakku sudah kaya, sudah punya semua, pasti kamu, siapa lagi nggak kamu. Sudahlah jangan marah kayak gitu, nanti aja kalau apa namanya anakmu pulang aku tanya ya. Sudah kamu nggak banyak bicara, kerat. Aku nggak bisa langsung dia dipegang langsung gini mah gitu. Habis itu tak pegang, kamu kok begini, saya tak taruh di luar, aku enggak tak taruh di luar, dia kan takut dia tambah jatuh, aku tambah ada masalah toh.
It wasn't the first time the old lady she was looking after hurt her, she says. She went to the police, but eventually settled the case with her employer.
Jadi karena usia nenek kayak gitu ya toh, majikan saya mau biayai sepenuhnya kayak obat-obat ini semua gitu, mau dipulangin aja gitu. Kalau menurut aku sama dia ya wis sudahlah, aku nggak mau sampai ke dalam kayak gini gitu loh.
It's one of the reasons she's tasked us not to reveal her identity. She didn't want her family back home to worry about her. Because perhaps the most painful part of working away from home isn't something the eyes can see.
Rasanya takut kehilangan anak saya, gimana kalau terjadi apa-apa. Tapi kalau aku pulang nggak kerja, gimana anakku nggak sekolah, saya melihat malah lebih menderita.
It must be hard for him as well.
Anak saya juga menderita. Anak saya juga seperti aku, gimana aku ini mau kemana ya, ikut kayak dijaga orang itu nggak sebebas seperti dijaga mama gitu. Maksudnya makan aku ngasih saudaraku segini.
It's something Saiza knows all too well, being the eldest daughter of a migrant worker before becoming one herself.
It's hard to grow up without your mother. I mean, without one of your parents. I'm the eldest, so I need to grow up fast because I need to take care of my siblings.
And then upon seeing your mom,
There's huge adjustment, and we've been through that stage. Like, I don't know you, you don't know me, even though you're my mom, I'm your daughter. We don't really know each other because she left when I was 8 years old, I think, or 7.
They eventually got to know each other, and Saiza finally understood what it means to be a migrant worker. It's no wonder then that this early in her career, photojournalism took her to Bethune House, where she spent a year following, photographing, and getting to know them.
and what did you learn from the women here, from the women you photographed here?
I've learned that everyone is the same. We all have dreams, we all have hopes. We all feel sad, we all feel happy. And actually, I feel really, really proud of these girls because I don't see them as victims, I see them as survivors. If you see them laughing, I mean, it's amazing.
Amazing is how the project turned out. Just before 2015 ended, Saiza unveiled the photos in a solo exhibit in Hong Kong. Among the crowd on opening night, diplomats, academics, students, social workers, and the women of Bethune House.
So what do you think needs to change after doing this documentary?
I think the system should change. I know that we cannot change that tomorrow, but slowly, you know, we plant these seeds of awareness to people, especially the younger ones. Slowly, we change how they look at domestic workers. You know, treat domestic workers as workers and as human beings.
For Simon Asia, I'm Barnaby Lo in Hong Kong.